Welcome to the Revolutionary Communities podcast. If you're an impact-driven company ready to boost sales and loyalty by valuing people, then you're in the right place. My name is Maruxa Murphy, your guide to building communities that resonate with your passion, vision, and purpose. Every week, I bring you game-changing strategies and revolutionary industry leaders who are blazing the trail with innovative, inspiring, and profitable communities. Having personally cultivated over 200 profitable communities just like these that generate 6 to 8 figures in additional revenue, I'll give you insights into creating unique and heart-centered community experiences. Today's episode, well, it's something that might just change your life. So settle in, enjoy, and let's dive into making our world a better place, one community at a time. Hello, my friends, Revolutionary Community podcast listeners. It is so good to have you here. Welcome back to the Revolutionary Communities podcast. Today we're going to be diving deep into the world of community management. Have you ever wondered about the difference between marketing and actually building a community? Well, if so, today's episode is for you. I recently was asked the question, what is the difference between marketing and doing, traditional marketing strategies like audience building on TikTok or Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever platform of choices, and how is that really different from building a community? So we're going to really dive in today to understanding community management, right? Really understanding the spectrum between marketing and community management, really beginning to look at where we put our focus in when we're looking at marketing versus community management. We're going to be talking through the importance of this distinction as it relates to building a community and building a brand in general. We're going to dive further into the many different hats a community manager wears, so that you are really clear about this role. I think that is one thing that's going to really support you in really expanding your ability to hire well and to grow and deepen a relationship with the people that you serve. And then we're going to do a couple other things as well. We're going to be looking at those responsibilities of a community manager, and then ultimately talk about, do we need to hire community managers part-time, full-time, or what's the deal? So we're going to dive into all those things in today's episode, and it's going to be pretty wonderful, I must say. So let's first understand community management. Okay, so here's the thing, right? You've got marketing. Marketing has been around for years, obviously. It's been around for as long as we have had any type of product to sell. When you think about marketing, what I'm thinking about is how to engage somebody that has a problem with a solution, be the bridge builder between a problem and the solution that is able to then support them and fix that problem, right? So that's like the most baseline thing. We use influence in marketing to be able to, and education in marketing to be able to then invite somebody into their next step. And so when you think about marketing on, let's say, LinkedIn or Facebook, what do we do? Or Instagram, whatever, or TikTok, you're utilizing education typically, or creating these aha moments, these light bulb moments that go off inside a person's mind to then invite them to want to deepen further. That's value added marketing, right? This isn't so much, I'm not even really talking about, push marketing, which is like, hey, buy one, get one, or hey, I don't even know. I barely ever use push marketing strategies, but pull marketing strategies is really utilizing your influence, your authority, your expertise to provide value in such a way that people want more. So that there is a very important part to profitable community management that is related to marketing, But community management in and of itself is really about deepening relationships. So you think about how that looks in a company. You think about, first and foremost, the first thing I want you to think about is, number one, what is the intentionality for your community? So last episode, we actually spoke about how to really create the most intentional profit path for your community. So if you haven't listened to the last episode, in talking about the 5 community profit paths, I highly suggest that you pause this particular episode and you listen into that one now, so that you can understand what I mean by intentionality in community. And then come back here, because in this episode, we're really going to be talking further about, well, how do you use marketing within the confines or within the relationship of community building and community management. So traditional marketing is going to be more of having what I call the external focus. This is going to be spotlighting, creating insights, creating aha moments, making, light bulbs go off in people's minds, right? It's very external. It's very much about inviting people that are not yet in your experience to have these aha moments. Maybe it's even through podcasting, like right now, in some ways, right? I'm marketing to you if you haven't yet been a client. And you're hopefully getting a lot of value from it. And it's external, right? It's outward, outside of the core community of people that have wanted to go deeper with me, to get them to understand a little bit more. And it is in some ways still deepening relationships. I'm deepening a relationship with you right now, for example, right? I'm hopefully building trust, likability, right? Know-how on the subject of community management versus marketing. So I am deepening my relationship with you. But the difference here is when I go into community management, our community managers are going to have an internal focus. They're going to be focused on the people who want to deepen that conversation alongside us as a brand. They're wanting to deepen that conversation with those who are also in the community with them, right? And it really goes from like a one-directional conversation where it's like us in marketing, in like the core traditional marketing route, where we're speaking on a stage to people, where in community management, we're speaking with our people, with our community, with the people that have said, yes, I'm really interested in this topic. I want to go deeper. So community management, in many ways, that's the difference between community and audience, and marketing and community management. Community management is now the person or the people who are managing those deepened relationships, managing the conversations, managing the invitations into different sales opportunities, if that's a part of the community that we're building, right? So that's going to be really important. Want to pay attention to those things. The other thing that you need to recognize is that we need both, right? So if you're building a company that's really people first with profits to follow, you kind of need both. We need to learn how to transition once the spotlight fades and it's like, I leave the room, if you will. Like, let's say I'm speaking with you, I'm on stage at an event and you're there and you hear me speak at the event. The minute the spotlight, gets off of me or off of you, if you're the one on the stage, well, how do you continue to cultivate that beautiful marketing opportunity that you had to go in front of that audience? Well, the opportunity it's moving them into a community or a space, a container, if you will, that you can deepen that relationship with. And there needs to be somebody there, or some ways in which we manage that community experience so that they're not just like left feeling alone. It's like throwing a house party and, they want to come to your door, right? That's really like audience building. They see your house, they're like, ooh, that house looks fun. There's a whole like lined street of houses having house parties. It's the street where everyone else in your same expertise is hanging out, and everyone's throwing a house party, but they look at your house and they see it and they're like, that looks like an awesome house on the outside. I want to go to that front door and go to that particular party. So they go to your front door, they knock on it, And for someone who has got good community management, there's a host at the front door saying, "Oh my gosh, welcome, come on in," give you a big hug. They show you around, they show you the kitchen where you can grab something to drink, where the food is, that you maybe introduce you to some amazing humans that are also in the party with you. And they kind of help you understand the lay of the land and how it works. Now, someone that a community, a house party, if you will, that doesn't have good community management, it often looks like this. The person comes to your house party, they see the front door, they're so excited to go to your particular party instead of all the other parties on the street. They knock on the door opens, maybe there's somebody there to open the door. And then that person, you, the host, walks away and it's like, "Hey, sup? What's going on? How are you? Okay, goodbye." Or, "Hey, come in." And then you're looking around at this party. You don't have anyone really walking you around to each of the rooms, to the kitchen to grab your drink, to check out the food situation, to introduce you to people. You're just there to kind of fend for yourself. And I don't know about you, but I've actually been to a party like that and it felt so awkward. I didn't know what to do with myself. I wanted to walk out. And I did kind of walk out pretty early. I was in and out of that party for like in 30 minutes. All right. But a party where you feel like you are being cared for, your hand is held while you're introducing them to people, that you're being introduced to other people, that's the kind of party that feels good to be a part of. You want to dip your toe in even more, really build connections with other people in the room, right? It's not just a whole bunch of people just like staring at each other and saying, "Hey, hey, hey." I mean, that's just awkward. No one knows what to say, or someone starts it and there's nothing that goes on the other side of it. It's just, so we don't want that, right? That's really the difference between great community management and not so great community management. So why does this really matter, right? I honestly believe that community is an ongoing relationship. So while marketing gets them in the door, the community is what keeps them there, what really retains them as somebody to continue to learn from you and trust you. And you start to build culture, right? So around you and around the people that you're serving, people get to really know what you and your company, your brand is about, your personality of your brand is all about. And they either love it or they don't, right? And for those that love it, they oftentimes are the ones that are going to want to deepen even more. And they often love it because they see themselves in there and they want to be a part of that culture and they want to experience that culture and more. And they want to invest in being a part of that culture and give back to that culture and to others who are also part of it. So we want to make sure that we're really we're designing that ongoing relationship in the community, right? And that really supports everybody so well. We start to really get people in the community to give feedback as to how this community can work even better for them and how they can bring more of their friends, their colleagues, their people, the people in their world that they know would be able to be served well by you as well, right? We get to really hear them because we're now building that ongoing relationship with them. Now, what makes an amazing community manager? That's a really, really good question. And honestly, it's a little hard to identify just from the stance of, I don't know what your core vision is, right? So we need to actually look before we even go into like hiring a community manager. We need to start looking at, well, what is your vision? Number one, what is your vision for your community? How do you want to play in your community? Are you the type of person that wants to be in the community, talking to your customers, talking to your prospects, really diving into the conversations with them, really building relationship with them, deepening that connection to them because they get you and they see you? Is it something where you really just want to be the quote unquote talent of the show, come in, do the thing, and then get out? And have somebody in there really nurturing those relationships while you're on to other projects and product or programs and services that you are offering or in the fulfillment side of the conversation? The closer we are to knowing how you want to be in your community, then the more we can really start to define what the community manager needs to look like and how many of them need to be in your particular community. So first and foremost, I want you to invite yourself to take a self-assessment. What are you going to be doing in your community? What do you enjoy doing for the community and with the community? What do you dread about being in the community? So as you begin to get clear on those answers, then you start to really and you start to realize that we can start to really define what this community manager does. Because a community manager isn't just there to only be there and answer questions or just provide content. They're there to help engage the community, really start to potentially introduce people to one another because they have similar interests. Maybe they live in the same town or similar part of the world. We are, when I was a community manager for years, I would be there answering people's questions, providing them with the resources that they need. You're there to also really strategize any promotions, sales conversations, potentially becoming a setter in DMs if you're creating a Facebook group or something to that like, or you're creating opportunities to create new products and services because of what you're hearing from your community. It might be interviewing expert guests in the community as well. There's so many different pieces that a community manager, so many different hats a community manager can wear, right? And then also on top of that, there could be some policing in the group. Maybe there are people that are really trying to take advantage of the group and be self-promoting. Community manager needs to know how to handle that and deal with that. So we really want to make sure that we get clear on what it is that you're doing, what other team members are doing, and then bring in a community manager or community managers that are going to be aligned with the role that is needing to be filled. Okay. So there is some things to be thinking through there, but really that manager or managers are there to make sure that the community is very much supported. Some potential ideas here, and I discussed some already, but some other ideas here is, they could be part of the strategic planning, really looking at what the vision is for the community, the brand alignment. How do you build that brand alignment with what's happening in the community itself? They might be the person that's really creating some really intentional connections virtually, or on Zoom. They might be the person hosting a lot of the Zoom events if you're doing live Zoom events. They might be they might be part of your social media engagement team so that they are really, really clear what happens during promotions and moving people from promotions more into the community experience that you're wanting to build. They're going to be definitely in the front line of building those relationships between turning people from an audience member into a deeper community member. You're going to want to definitely teach them how to read the data, how to analyze the data that's going to be in front of them, and understand what these data points mean so that we can continue to move the needle towards where we want the community to go. They also might be supportive in media relations, bringing in the right people, or creating and cultivating great relationships between the media and your brand, and bringing in certain experts from the outside into your community and interviewing them, right? So all these are some other potential ideas that your community manager can do. Again, we just want to know what you want to do and how you want to show up, and then we can really begin to support your community manager in each of these roles. Now, sometimes people will say, okay, well, that sounds great, Maruxa. So I can do this with a part-time person, right? Like 20 hours a week. Well, it sounds alluring, right? It sounds amazing to potentially have someone doing all these things part-time, because oftentimes when we think about a community manager, we're thinking somebody that's just sitting in our community, refreshing the screen constantly, and looking for people to make a comment on something and then following up with them. Well, that's not everything. As you can see, there's so many opportunities that we can pull into this community management role, from creating content through building engagement, through comments, through finding resources and people to bring in, through. There's so many opportunities. So while it sounds wonderful to hire somebody part-time, the more you're going to put on a community manager, the more likely you're going to want this person to be a full-time person. right? And the truth is, a community manager, I mean, we're the people. So we're not typically the ones that are going to want to just give it a, just give it like half, like we are not here to just do a kind of just mediocre job at what we're doing. What we really are here to do is to support. And if there's any problems or issues that come up in the group or anything political or anything that feels like out of the ordinary, guess who's going to be on the front lines? It's going to be this community manager or the community managers, right? So there are two options here. You could hire one community manager and have that person be the main person, or you hire multiple people part-time to take different shifts, to be able to support one another, have different strengths and skill sets, and really get a lot of opportunities taken care of at different times of the day. So just a couple of things to think about there. But you do want to think about the need for flexibility in this role. And depending on how much you want to give up, then you're going to need to just be really clear that they need to have those skill sets to be able to take that over. So I know that this is going to be a really important part of your growth, is bringing in and understanding how to really support marketing versus community management. And what I want to just suggest here is really just go back to what I shared and really start to look at, like, well, what would a community manager do? What would I want to be doing in this community? And then we can go from there. Now, if you're interested in having a conversation with me about your community and what steps you need to take, and whether or not this is even something that you can imagine will be able to be profitable for you, then let's have a conversation, because I can help you really think that through and individualize that conversation to you and what it is that you're needing. So thank you so much for joining us today on this episode on community management and the difference between community management and marketing. And remember, while marketing might be bringing people to your door, it really is community management that turns them from being a potential, party guest to someone that might feel like family and want to continue to build long-term with you. So until next time, keep engaging, keep envisioning, and keep impacting the world, because the people that you get to serve, they matter, as do you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next episode. And that wraps up another enlightening episode of the Revolutionary Communities podcast. Remember, it's not just about building communities. It's about sparking movements and echoing change across the globe. I'm Maruxa Murphy, reminding you that every voice matters, every story is significant, and your vision can truly make the world a better place. If today's insights resonated with you, consider taking a bold step and implementing one idea into your community. Let us know about it by going to revolutionarycommunities.com/podcast. And there you'll be able to let us know what is sparking for you by joining our own Revolutionary Communities community. Together, we are stronger, and with unity, we can be the revolution. Until next time, keep leading with your heart, stay inspired, and never underestimate the power of genuine connection.